Who was Gino? And why this world? This world, Gino's butterfly, is dedicated to a dear friend and member of my family for 35 years. He was also a very talented sketch artist who paired up with a well-known designer in the mid-50s and 60s. Then in the early 1970s, Gino and his creative partner and a group of like-minded friends took off to live in the remote Pacific mountains that meet the sea in Costa Rica to build a better world. This is my first personal world, a memorial and a homage to an extraordinary man and beloved friend. His life and even his death were also very unusual and uplifting. I was inspired to share his drawings with the world instead of putting them all away in a drawer. I chose to bring them to life and allow them to promenade through virtuality, thanks to Dale Innis. Gino enlisted in the U.S. Air Force in 1950 when he was 17 and was stationed in Aishia, Japan as a meteorologist. He never saw combat up front, but was witness to the casualties of this war as they were being shipped home to hospitals or in coffins. Although he was honorably discharged in 1954, he never received any veterans' benefits. No one ever wins the chess game of war. Both sides always lose. Gino was very anti-war after his Korean experience and did not like to talk about it. After the Korean War, in 1955, Gino moved to New York. On the GI Bill, he studied art at night and became a very accomplished sketch artist, especially with small details and excellent faces. As we arrive here at the park, you can see some illustrations Gino made in his later years for 2 children's poetry books that I wrote and self-published. At art school, he found he had a great flair for sketching fashions, and it became his real passion. Gino's day job was at Tiffany's in Manhattan in the China department. There he learned to be aware of the accessories a woman was wearing when she came in. Her shoes and bags and jewelry said more about her personal taste than her clothes, so he would better know what to show her when she was looking for China patterns. He was very successful in what he did there. In 1956, Gino moved to Los Angeles and was introduced to a well-known fashion designer, James Otobre. Working together almost from the moment they met, it was a pure creative chemistry from the start. They designed several clothing lines, Tiger Lily and Me Jane, and also had a fashion salon in Beverly Hills called Otobre's. They were very popular and successful, avant-garde, and outfitted many of the famous and wealthy matrons of that time. Gino worked so well with James because he could anticipate what James needed next. Gino had a very special talent. He could draw a prospective client wearing the finished dress before they even started working on it. This helped the client see rather than just imagine herself in the creation. They had that creative collaborative chemistry, which is more valuable than winning the lottery if you are lucky enough to find it. In 1971, Gino and James and their group moved to the remote and very primitive rainforest of the southern Pacific coastline of Costa Rica in Central America. There was no electricity or running water, and Gino's duties changed from designing high fashion to feeding chickens and goats and cooking on a wood stove. He was the cook and selling eggs to the neighbors. It was a magical time of meditation and living in harmony with nature, listening to the waves. The wildness and inaccessibility of their land made it a naturally protected paradise. They went into the mystic, expanding their consciousness along the way. Gino said it was like finding the Garden of Eden after parading the sidewalks of Hollywood Boulevard. He quickly learned Spanish and was very popular with the country folk who had never met anyone quite like him. Gino was so changed by his experience that he never went back to live in the U.S. This rainforest home bewitched him for the rest of his life. However, in the mid-1980s, Gino moved to Perez de León, a small ranching and farming region in those years, and settled in to live with our family. He had the magic touch with plants, made the best coffee anywhere, and was a joy to be around. Everyone who knew him loved him, and he spent the last 35 years of his life as an irreplaceable member of our household. He was my best friend. The models you see parading all over this world were designed and illustrated by Gino. He was very versatile and prolific. He especially loved the details, the accessories, shoes, and bags. One week before he passed away, Gino was lying in the bed, moving his arms in a rhythmic pattern. His eyes were closed and he appeared sleeping, except for the energetic flapping of his arms against the bed. I whispered into his ear, "Gino, what are you doing? What do you see?" He answered me without opening his eyes. "I'm changing into a butterfly. I must become a butterfly." I said, "It's so beautiful that you're becoming a butterfly. I know I will love you even more when you do." You could see he was putting all his strength and his mind into it, flapping for a few minutes, breathing more quickly. Then he said, I can't do it today, but maybe tomorrow." That January 12th morning at 6 a.m., I think he finally was able to complete the transformation. As Donna later said to me at the gravesite, "Abba, he escaped from our hands." He did just that. He escaped from our hands and was gone. And those exact words are what is written on his headstone.